questions.
Oh, man, Jake from State Farm looks like such a good guy, and he's gouging us, gentlemen.
Although
he's no good.
Man,
he's got those khakis.
he's mayhem. I love the mayhem insurance commercials.
I like those too. What is that? State Farm or Farmer? No,
No.
State Farm.
Farmers. Progressive.
I don't know.
Is it Progressive or is it Allstate?
Yeah, how effective?
Oh, it's Allstate. Yeah,
Clearly,
effective
these
other
guys aren't
commercials.
doing well with.
There's
We
just
can't
so
even
many of
remember
them.
who they are.
Oh,
it's
my gosh.
Allstate. It's Allstate for the
Allstate.
main.
Welcome to the Only Stupid Questions podcast, where we ask the questions that may be too stupid to ask. I'm Brandon.
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Matt.
Only stupid questions.
But man,
Did
what
you? I was just gonna say, did you guys see the guy that There's a viral video of this guy out there that you know how you have like some places, some storefronts offer you the buy again thing.
Okay.
So this guy, I think he was using Walmart, but anyway, he went in there and filled his cart with everything that he had like 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember what it was.
Right.
To buy again, and then saw the difference in the price, and it was like 3 times what he paid for it. A few years ago.
I believe
Same exact products.
It was a Walmart to go order, and he
Yeah.
duplicated the order. And you're right, it was pretty shocking to see. Wow.
But the funny thing is they want to tell us that prices have only gone up 17%. I don't think that's true.
It feels a lot more expensive. So my car insurance. Now, yes, I added a 16-year-old to my insurance, but before I added him, and they even knew he existed, my insurance went up by almost double. No speeding tickets, nothing, no accidents, and went up. And when I called my agent to be like, what in the heck? He's like, prices have just gone up. And so I went and shopped around. We ended up switching, but I was still paying, even after finding the next lowest price, was still paying a lot more than I was the year before.
When you look at a list of things that have gone up in price, that's at the top is various insurances, specifically car. That's been really interesting to see.
Now, driving around where I live, people drive like idiots. So I kind of understand if car insurance prices is going up because I see accidents constantly.
That's part of it.
And I'm being punished as a good driver because of the people around me. Also on the East Coast, you get hurricanes and stuff. So like Florida is basically just completely uninsurable.
Yeah.
So those prices are going up. But, groceries through the roof,
Yeah, utilities.
And then what's the most, can I just throw this in there? I wanted to get your take on this. What's the most advertised product on TV?
Tampons?
I would think it's medications.
Oh, yeah, pharmaceuticals.
So pharmaceuticals and insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Buy up all of the airtime. How often do we see Jake from State Farm?
Oh,
that's
and
true.
The next commercial, we see a celebrity peddling the newest medication. So yeah, it just switches back and forth, it seems like. Yeah. For those of you who actually still encounter commercials, maybe I'm a little old school there, but
I think you are. You don't watch
encounter
Netflix
commercials because we got tricked with streaming. Like we all switched from cable and satellite to streaming, and it's like there's no commercials. It's cheaper. Yeah, now there's commercials, and I probably pay more than I ever did for cable.
Well, I have all of the streaming services. I think that's one of our splurges, but we don't do the premium for every single one of them. And so a few of them, we still have commercials, and that's all the commercials I see are drugs and insurance. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Jake from State Farm looks like such a good guy, and he's gouging us, gentlemen.
He's no good.
Man,
he's got those khakis.
He's mayhem. I love the mayhem insurance commercials.
I like those too. What is that, State Farm?
Yeah.
Or Farmer?
No.
State Farm.
Farmers. Progressive.
I don't know.
Is it Progressive or is it Allstate?
Yeah, how effective?
Oh, it's Allstate. Yeah,
Clearly,
effective
these
other
guys aren't
commercials.
doing well
Right.
with.
There's
We
just
can't
so
even
many
remember
of
who
them.
they are.
Oh,
it's
my gosh.
Allstate. It's Allstate for the
Allstate.
mayhem guy.
Companies are having record-breaking profits since the pandemic. Yet prices have been going up. So if it was really the supply chain that was causing prices to be so high, then you wouldn't be seeing record-breaking profits. You would be seeing profits stay steady or be slightly lower while prices are going up because they're making up the margin of the difference. But when profits are going up even faster than the amount they're raising prices, that tells you their costs are going down, prices are going up, they're making a hell of a lot more money.
Right. It's the same thing with the gas prices, right? Because all of these oil companies are making record breaking profits, and our gas prices are through the roof, right? So we're all being gouged somehow on gas prices.
And is it a situation where they've conditioned us as consumers now, and so now they know they can get away with it? Get them used to that $3.50 a gallon price.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when it hits 3, they'll rejoice and thank everybody. But what was it a couple of years ago? We were down in the
Well, 4
$1.50,
years
I
ago
think
it was
4 years?
170, right? With
Yeah, you were under $2.
So yeah,
170?
somebody put out a thing, the
Right.
year that Biden took over, the very first month or whatever, it was like 179 a gallon or something, and now we're looking at like $4 a gallon.
Right. And there is a certain price point where that industry needs to remain healthy, and it's definitely above $1.50 or $1.70, where people keep their jobs, exploration continues, refineries continue to run. I believe the number they came up with was in the 250 to 275 range for a healthy energy sector. And
Well,
buying more.
and like you said earlier, they quote inflation rates as being like, 3% for the month. And that sounds like, oh, that's not that much. But what they're not telling you is that's 3% this month. And then you had 3% last month. You had 3% the month before. If you add that all up, it's like, wow, it really has gone up that 17% for the year. But I heard a stat the other day. They said, year over year inflation was like 9%. And it's like, I feel like it's a lot more expensive.
For certain products, it's way, way more than that.
Guaranteed.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's no way
maybe
it's
some
that.
products like buying a new boat, maybe it didn't go up 9%,
No.
and that's averaging out. But groceries are huge. Insurance is huge. I don't feel like gasoline's gone up a ton year over year because it was high a year ago, and it's stayed fairly flat
It's
in the
still a
last year.
different industry. Supply and demand still has a lot to do with it. There's a lot of competition worldwide. You're right. So it's a little bit different there.
The other thing I
And
think
my-
about, though, is I bought a new truck in 2021. And I thought I paid a whole bunch then. And I did pay a whole bunch, more than I would have liked to. But now the dealership is trying to convince me to get the newer model. Like, it's only 3 years old. Like, there's nothing wrong with this truck, right? And just because I'm a talkative guy, I heard him out, and I'm like, well, tell me what you got, right? And so he's working out these numbers and stuff. And when he goes over it with me, just over the phone, because I didn't go in or anything, he just kept texting me and calling me, my monthly payment would go up. Part of that because of interest rates.
Yeah.
The other part of it is the actual base price of this truck is a lot more than I paid originally on my truck, and not even as nice of a model. And so when I was like, well, this is the model I have, like, you can't even get me a truck that's comparable to it. And he's like, oh, well, what would you need that for? He's like, and I'm like, why would I downgrade for newer and pay more? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
He's like, yeah, but I can give you so much for your trade-in.
Oh,
And it's
sure
like,
you could,
yeah,
buddy.
you can give me enough for my trade-in to make me break even on that, but then I'm going to be in the hole when I buy the next one.
It's kind of a backwards way of thinking, isn't it?
Well, they're struggling to
industry,
sell new vehicles.
I'm
Because
sure.
he let it slip to me, because he's called me like 14 times. Like, he's really eager to get a sale, right? And he's like, well, I have 85 Chevy Silverados on the lot, brand new. And I was like, well, why don't you go sell those instead of begging me to trade my truck in? Because you can sell mine because it's a couple of years old and it's in great condition. And he's like, well, nobody's buying the new ones. And I'm like, well, I wonder why.
Man.
Like,
Yeah,
there's
their
not a
prices
single
of-
option on that new
out of
truck
control.
that's 3 years newer that is better than the truck I drive today.
Not one option. I'm with you. I can't think of one.
You know what though? That's why I think the used cars prices are staying so high. Have you looked at used car, like just buying a used car from somewhere?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's unreal. Like you can get a car for 150,000 miles or whatever, and they want like brand new prices for it.
Sometimes.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, so my son
But
turned
it's the world
16
we
this
live in.
year, and I don't want him driving my truck because then it really would be a piece of crap.
Right.
And so we were looking around, and I had in my mind, like, I'm going to buy him a hoopty, right? And for those of you who don't know what a hoopty is, it's a reasonably priced car that not a
Is
lot
that
of
what it is?
options,
Oh,
right?
okay.
That's what a hoopty is. And I was looking forever, and like you said, Matt, like everything I was finding online was like 150 to 250,000 miles, and wanted a lot of money for them. I'm like, there's no way I'm buying a car with that many miles on it for that price. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. And I was trying to find something in like the 3,000 to 5,000 range, thinking, that he's a 16-year-old. He doesn't need anything super big.
We lost him. Yeah.
Matt doesn't want to hear my story, but I'm going to keep telling it.
I am here for you.
Matt just hung up and left for everyone in the viewing.
He couldn't handle it. Those prices were just too high.
Just too high. But he's going to miss out on this story because I found a way to buy a car. He's going to have to listen to the podcast himself to hear the story.
He's got to learn.
But
yeah.
I went to an auction where they sell this auctioneer sells cars that he sources them either because they were repossessed from the North Carolina Department of Revenue, or the Department of, would it be home? Which was the ones that does the drug stuff?
Oh, okay. DEA.
DEA. The DEA.
Yeah.
Or their DUIs. So that's the three places where he gets these cars. So we went to the auction, and you can go the day before and kind of walk through, see what they have. And a lot of these were clearly cars that were totaled through the DUI.
Oh.
Like they were just garbage, right? But then they had a few nicer ones. And so we ended up buying a car that was taken away from someone who got a DUI. Luckily, this one wasn't wrecked. But it had been sitting there, 2017 car with only 14,000 miles on it. And we paid less than, what any of these other used ones were selling, but it had 150,000 miles less than the other ones. So we bought it that way. But had we went and bought the same car at a dealership, we would have paid a heck of a lot more.
Easily. Bobby hit us with some of the numbers that he encountered. The auto industry is hurting. In fact, just today, so here we are in the late August, General Motors just announced another layoff. So this has been happening. Now, this was a white-collar layoff of 1,000 people today, but
it was like systems guys, right? Like computer guys.
Yeah, computer guys who they feel they can get outsourcing or AI to replace. Is the insider reporting on that.
Dang.
I don't know how I feel about AI designing components of my vehicle.
Oh yeah, you never know what they're doing there. But,
it seems a little suspect to me too.
Well, sus, as the kids say.
I don't know. We'll see.
I mean,
how that
AI
goes.
is fun for a lot of things. I don't know if it has its best intentions with safety in mind.
So the pros of AI, at least the people who are defending AI, is that it will bring down prices. The companies will be able to utilize AI to increase their profits, therefore pass that on to the customer. And what do you think?
AI
at
can
the
do a
cost
lot
of
of great
safety.
things. AI can do some fantastic things. It makes great memes. It's great at research. But let's be honest, AI is not ready to design a vehicle.
No.
Yeah, too many safety issues.
To
I
help
think
people,
same thing with the flight, with the planes.
Sure.
We don't want AI designing our aircraft, do we?
Yeah, right now they're using it to help code, maybe debug code, come up with ideas, brainstorm. You're right, though. What's that next phase? The actual design process, maybe. That's a little scary to me as well. And I don't see that convincing a large corporation who is in it to win it to lower their prices. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, well,
So,
companies are
But
there
they're
to
not
make
going to
money.
lower their prices.
Right.
Let's be honest. Prices
Yeah.
have only gone up
I don't
for
see
the
that
last
helping.
10 years.
True.
Helping inflation. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Companies, in some cases, are hurting because of the prices that they've kind of relied on.
But let's be honest, are they really hurting? Record-breaking stock
Yeah.
prices.
Right.
So now that people can't afford to buy some of these goods, rather than cut the prices to where you could incentivize buying again, it's let's do a bunch of layoffs and stuff so we can maintain our high prices and our stock price.
Yeah, you want to know what happened when GM announced the layoff? Their stock price went up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's unfortunate, right? That's what it takes to get a little momentum in the Wall Street area while Main Street's hurting. That's too bad.
There's two ways to increase your stock price. One is cut expenses. The other is to raise revenue. And all things being equal, if you can't get your sales right now, then you need to cut your expenses.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Never really understood that phrase, all things being equal.
I don't know how to understand it either. But all
just
things
Should we
being
throw that
equal.
into a new episode? Are we
It's
using
kind
that
of
right?
a funny phrase. But anyway,
It's fine.
carry on. I digress.
Carry on. So, with this emergence of higher prices, or with this increase in prices, it seems like, I know in my household, I've been a little bit more motivated to make my things last and even repair items that break to try and avoid the new stuff. And yet, there comes a point where it might be cheaper or more convenient to buy new rather than repair. What do you guys think of that?
Amen. You
True.
totally can. I've got a recent experience. So
Okay.
we've only lived in this house a little over 2 years, right? Bought it brand new, which should mean all the appliances are new. We should be able to have things not break, right? Well, within the first year, while we still were under warranty, our microwave, the little turny thing, it quit turning.
The turning thing?
The
Yeah, I
turny
know
thing.
that.
The
turny thing. That's
turntable,
the official.
whatever.
I believe it's the official phrase for it. Yeah.
Yes, it's the turny thing. Anyways, because it was under warranty, we called and had this guy come by, and only because it was under warranty were we able to get this thing fixed, because what had gone out was the motor thing that runs the turny thing. Do you want to know how much the motor he quoted us costs in that thing?
Oh my gosh.
$220.
So is this including like labor and parts and
Just the part, not labor. If we had to pay for it, if it hadn't been under warranty, which the warranty was only good for like another week or so when he came out, the part would have cost $400 to repair the stupid microwave. Well, we were under warranty, so he ordered the part. He came back a week or two later, and he fixed it up. Microwave's still working great, right? Well, a week ago, it feels like a couple weeks because we've been hand washing dishes. The dishwasher started making this really loud noise. And I kept telling my wife, I'm like, there's something wrong with that thing. So she calls same repairman back because, he'd come to the house before, whatever. And he looks into it and he's like, the motor. So again, another motor issue. Same brand as the microwave. The motor's going out. He's like, it hasn't gone out yet, but he's like, let's look it up. Part for this thing is $345. And my wife's texting me. I'm home, but I was working. I was on a call. And she's texting me like, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to, have them replace the motor? And I was like, well, just ask him, you know, what a new one of these costs. Basically the same thing. And the guy literally tells her, he's like, well, the same dishwasher's on sale at Lowe's right now for $2.99.
What?
The motor
Wow.
in it, just one part of it is
Right.
$345. That wouldn't cover his labor, right? So his labor would have been on top of that. And he's like, there's no reason to repair this thing. He's like, you should just buy a new one.
Wow.
And so I told her, I was like, because I'm still on a call, I couldn't go talk to him. I was like, well, ask him, you know, what's a good brand to get, because I'm sick of these things just breaking and stuff. And he told her, he said, basically, none of these appliances are designed to last over 3 to 5 years anymore. And he goes, they're just built cheap, whatever. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? When I was growing up, my grandparents had a washer and dryer set that was older than I was.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to know when they replaced that thing? Within the last 5 years.
Wow.
Can you believe that? That's
I'm
amazing.
41 years old. Their washer and dryer was probably over 40 years, going strong.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I remember having the same refrigerator in my house from when I was born, because I can see pictures in there from prior to me being born, until I left the house. It was still working fine. But now
Wow.
things just don't last.
So
Yeah,
our fridge, actually, I forgot about it. You just reminded me. Our fridge, this house, again, we've only been here 2 years. We had to have the repairman come out because the fan wasn't working to cool it. And like it was keeping the food cold, but the outside of the fridge was getting super
yeah.
hot, right?
Right.
And it's because the fan wasn't functioning. Wow. And like these things are just built so poorly.
Yeah, it's that
It's a conspiracy.
again, driving those profits, and we have talked about the planned obsolescence conspiracy, where these items are in fact designed to fail at a certain time. They want you to be just satisfied enough to come back to them, but they don't want a 40-year fridge. That's not good for business.
No,
So,
Not
it was
really.
back in the 60s, I guess. but
yeah.
Not
Yeah,
now.
I think we're. Oh man, you're exactly
Well, remember
right.
the commercials? Was it the Maytag man that
Mhm.
he
Yeah.
was just so bored, like he never had to go out to do anything? Like that was marketing for them. Of you buy this thing, like it's just going to last forever.
Right.
That's right. I remember that.
I don't think that's the case anymore. But I'm sure there are brands that are still really high quality. At least I like to think there are. But a lot of these brands that we're putting in our houses are not going to last forever. And it just kills me that the parts to fix it are more expensive
That's unbelievable.
than buying a
Oh
new
my
one.
gosh.
Because I'm pretty handy. Like I could probably replace the motor on this thing, but why spend more for the motor part and spend an entire Saturday tearing into the thing if I can just go buy a new one for less?
Amen.
Terrible for the environment. We're filling up the landfills more and more. I guess we're keeping these businesses in business. I don't know. I think there's pros and cons on both sides, but you're right. I mean, once upon a time, there was like a 50-50 or a 60-40 rule that people would, like a repairman would tell you. If this item's going to cost half as much as it is to buy a new one, then you should probably start considering buying a new one. But that's much more than your example, at least. That's more than the new item cost.
Well, so we paid him $100 for the service call to come out and tell us to buy a new one.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there thinking, well, if that's what he does on every service call is just tells people to buy a new one
Wow.
because
what
it's
a
going to
good
cost
deal.
more to replace the parts,
I'm in the wrong
then
business.
like that's got to be
Me
killing
too.
his business. But unless he's repairing something under warranty, he flat out said like the cost to repair these things costs more if you have to pay out of pocket.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, warranty work. I'm sure he makes a lot of money off of that, but just service calls, pocket $100, be honest with the person and tell them to get a new one. Save yourself a little bit of work. Let's look into that industry a little bit, huh? Let's get into that.
Yeah, so all the while, you know, I feel like we're paying more for stuff. I feel like we're getting less quality stuff for more
Absolutely.
money.
Yeah, I don't
I
know
agree.
I don't think anybody, I'd love to hear an opposing position from anybody listening. If you think products today are better than they used to be. Now, you could
Some
argue
products.
that cars are much better than they were in the 60s and 70s to a
Can
point,
you?
right?
I don't know.
So I think you could.
I
Cars,
don't
You
think
wreck
so.
them
Cars-
now, and they
let me go.
cost too much to
Let me-
repair.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear the
All right.
man out.
Bring this
How
on.
long do cars last now versus then?
Well, you still see like 67 Chevys
That's
and
because somebody had to restore the whole thing.
yeah, but it's out there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
And you
don't
didn't
know.
have to wear a seatbelt back in those days.
Right. So if you trade safety and life for
But do
how
you?
well the
Because
panels were built,
the cars nowadays just fold up like a tin
Right.
can.
and that's how they're built. They're
Back
built
in
to do
those
that.
They're
days,
designed to do that. That's
They
a
were
safety
like
feature.
big iron, you know.
But look at the safety numbers.
Tanks.
Those don't lie. Those
Yeah, that's
don't
true.
lie.
Well, they're designed for the car to crumple, but to protect the occupants within,
Right,
right?
right.
Whereas if a new car got hit by one of the 1980s tanks, the new car's gonna fold up, and the old car's not even gonna have a dent in it, right?
Yeah. I've just consistently taken vehicles over 200,000 miles, and that was unheard of back in the day. So but you're right though. They're tin cans versus tanks back then, and so yeah, you could hit a deer and keep going. Back
Tanks a
in the day.
lot.
And they were easier to work on back then. So there is an argument for that you could
That
do
and they
your
were
own.
better looking. I mean, come
Oh,
on.
definitely better
The
looking.
cars now suck.
some.
The designs. Designed cars back in the 60s and 70s were where they were at, except for there were some bad designs like the
There were a
Pinto,
few.
you know, with
Yeah,
the
we can
gas
talk about the
tank on the.
Pinto. Yeah.
Every time they got hit, they'd just explode.
Okay. They would at least start on fire. They would.
Yeah, whatever. You know.
No, they just terrible designs. But that was an example of corporate greed, and people suffered because of it. I think it's a pretty good example. So yeah, there's an argument that some products are better now, but I'd say as a whole, they're not. I'd say they're not. I'm with you.
Yeah, I
True.
will say though, options like and features, like there's more fun features than there used to be.
Yep.
That's true.
They're going longer. There's more features, but can you work on them yourself anymore? I'd say
I
that's
wouldn't
an
dare
argument.
work on my truck.
It's tough. It's tough. I love working on my own vehicles, and it's getting harder and harder to do.
Yeah, I rebuilt a lot of my 2005 Suzuki Boulevard motorcycle over the summer.
Oh, nice.
And even
That's
that
fun.
was way more like electronics than I
Right.
was used to when I was working on my 1985 GMC Jimmy.
It's crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah, they've planned it in a way for them to make money. I think that's not a shocking statement to make. When things get repaired, the company that provided the product is not getting a cut of that unless you buy a product directly from them. But they want you to buy new. Therefore, they will design their products to make you want to buy new. I don't think there's a conspiracy there. I think that's just out in the open.
Well, the other thing is, so if you think about like a washer, dryer, dishwasher, whatever, it used to be they were made out of metal and they were actual parts.
Right.
The new ones are made out of plastic. They're also a lot more like computer based. So the computer's telling it how to work rather than being like gears and stuff like that. And those things just break down quicker. But
Right,
speaking of the subpar parts, so same dishwasher, right? That I told you the motor hadn't gone fully out yet.
Mhm.
Within a couple of days of the repairman coming, again, we were using the dishwasher because he says just use it till it dies, right? You know the little, again, another spinny part that sprays?
Yes.
Somehow it had got caught on something and then it got bent down and it was like touching the heat thing and it melted the entire arm off of it. It just broke
no.
right in half. So now the
Wow.
dishwasher is completely useless. But I told my wife, I'm like, I'm not buying a new one right now. Like, we're just going to hand wash these things. Like, I don't have it in me to pay a
good for
bunch
you.
of money.
My dishwasher's completely useless too. I was thinking about maybe getting a divorce.
Oh,
I was going to say, I thought you replaced that recently.
Just kidding.
You know.
Oh,
On that note,
I do not endorse that joke.
No.
Because
I'm
I
on
know.
I'm on Team Michelle.
I am too.
Me too.
I was just teasing.
Oh, okay.
Well, my friend Beth, who we used to work with, you all know Beth.
Yeah.
She's going to love this because she thinks I give Laura the worst Christmas gifts. Because one year Laura asked for a carpet cleaner. Guess what she got? Carpet cleaner.
No.
1 year she wanted a new washer and dryer. She got a new washer and dryer. So Beth, guess what Laura's getting for Christmas? New dishwasher.
Okay. All right.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
The gift that keeps on giving. All right. Well,
Right.
I'm tired of inflation. I'm tired of my products costing more. I'm a popaholic, so I'd like to issue an official threat to the companies of Coca-Cola and Pepsi. And Dr. Pepper, I'm going to throw you in there too. I know what you're up to, and I don't like it. I know what you're doing. You're conditioning me to pay more for my addiction. Stop.
You remember we could get 2 20 ounces for like $1.50?
Right.
Yeah,
what
totally.
happened, man? The good old days.
I stopped at the gas station just the other day and got 2 20 ounces. It was $6.
Unbelievable.
I
That-
about crap my pants
if you want,
at the register.
if you want an
there.
example of inflation hitting the little man, hitting the small guy where it hurts, it's soda pop for this man. And I'm looking at 12-pack prices. I'm paying $20 for 3 of them now. In some
That's
cases,
ridiculous.
that's
Well, the
well
Circle
over
K, 89
60 cents a can
fountain
in some
drinks.
cases.
You gotta
Yeah,
go fountain again. So 89-cent fountain drinks with
That's
a
what they
new
want
cup,
you to do.
Yeah,
and it's any size.
because that's
89
even
cents.
cheaper, higher. That's even higher margins for them. That syrup
For
is
sure.
dirt cheap. No, it's
If they get
it's
the
well
mixture
over
right, I'll take fountain all day long.
well over 60 cents a can, and I can't do it. So I've definitely cut back, but I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
I agree.
And I refuse to pay those prices. So
All right,
it hurts, guys. It hurts me a lot, and I don't know how I'm going to recover. I
You
don't
can
need
do it.
rehab. I
Just
don't
stop
need
drinking
rehab.
soda.
I can't.
Problem solved.
Can I do it?
I've tried too many times.
It is kind of hard. No
It's
doubt.
my vice, and there's some alternatives out there, like I don't know, water. Does that work?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't cut
Waterloo?
it sometimes. Not Waterloo.
That's
I
not
can
going to
avoid
the
that
LaCroix
temptation.
Waterloo. Yeah,
I know how you feel about that stuff, but
water of the
it's
loo.
out there.
But even that has gone up, and
Yeah. It's
Even the
It's
water.
the aluminum can. No?
it's
I don't know.
it's corporate greed. It's
I
corporate
agree.
greed. Aluminium. The aluminium cans.
Aluminium?
Aluminium.
All right, brother.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Only Stupid Questions podcast. Give us a like and a subscribe. Please leave a review wherever you listen to your podcast.
Only stupid questions.